Good afternoon, Moore County. This is David Warnoff broadcasting live to you from the nerve center of the Pilot, our newsroom in downtown Southern Pines. John Nagy, our editor, is still out on personal business today, so you unfortunately once again have the B team delivering the news. Let's see. I've had my temperature taken about 4 times today. It was a little chilly on my way to the office today, so I came in. I got here early, beat Darlene Stark into the office too, by the way. So I went into her office. She's our office temperature taker, and I got our thermometer and took my temperature, and it was 95 degrees. So that really is, as Outcast says, cooler than being cool. That's ice cold. In fact, it was so cool, I thought, I begin to wonder if this thermometer is accurate. So a few minutes later, I went back up there and took my temperature, and I was kind of my normal self. I was 97.5. As I left the house, my wife Adair asked what I had planned for today, and told her I had a lunch appointment at Pinehurst Surgical Clinic, where we were I was meeting with several executives from the surgical clinic and the hospital to talk about some coverage issues around getting folks to elective surgeries and going back to the hospital and going to the doctor and feeling comfortable with that. She said, really, you can go to the doctor's office? She said, is that safe? Which maybe a lot of y'all are thinking the same thing. So when I got there, and of course I thought, well, if there's anybody who's going to be following fairly rigorous protocols for your health and wellness, it will be the Pinehurst Surgical Clinic. And I was absolutely right in my confidence as I walked in the door. 2 nice folks with masks on and bearing thermometers descended upon me, and they asked me all kinds of questions about my traveling habits for the last couple weeks, and people who are staying at my house, and took my temperature. I was 97.7. And then I went on to my meeting where hashed out a lot of good story ideas with the folks there to bring to you. And they are very eager to share. The folks at the surgical clinic and the hospital are all very eager to be transparent and share what information they can with you. Afterwards, as we mentioned yesterday, Laura Douglas had reported on a story about Meridian Zero producing a temperature kiosk, and Pinehurst Surgical Clinic has one of the first ones. So they took me down to the employee entrance and let me see it in action and test it, where I came in back to 97.5. and so they, to show me that it really works, somebody had put a hot compress on their forehead and then took temperature, and boy, that thing, it sounds like an alarm at a retail store if you stole something. It is loud, and it'll keep you from getting in the building. So Laura is still trying to track down Chris Gilder to bring you all the details about the Meridian Zero thermometer. So Chris, if you're listening, return her call and look for that in the next couple issues of the Pilot. Let's see. Now let's get on with the news. We have 1 new case to report to you. So according to the Moore County Health Department, we are now at 151 cases of coronavirus and 9 deaths. So we are no new deaths today and only 1 new case. First Health's dashboard shows they have performed 3,008 tests, and 299 of them came back positive. So still running at about a 10% ratio there for positive tests to number of tests taken. They have 119 tests pending. So I would imagine that will yield somewhere around 11 or 12 positive cases. Now, one thing to remember, I feel the need to remind y'all all the time, is that First Health they have 4 hospitals in 4 counties, and their catchment area is, I think, 15 counties. So that's why their number of cases is different from the Moore County Health Department cases. let's see, we've got an interesting story from Jamie Baxley that I'm sure will make it into the pilot's briefing tonight and onto our website shortly thereafter. Jamie is reporting some data, very interesting data from the Department of Health and Human Services out of Raleigh. And so now some of this is a little dated in that they have 106 cases in Moore County, and of course we know we have 151 cases. So they're a little off on their case count by just a little, only 50%. But that's state government for you. But what they did give us, which I thought you would find of interest, is they broke down all the cases by zip code. And many of y'all have been asking for that, so I thought I would share that with you tonight. Now, since we're showing 151, they're at 106, I decided to turn them into percentages so that as you look, and our supposition is that the percentages would still hold true, whether they are, no matter the number of cases, we think the percentages by township will be the same. And so leading Moore County is Pinehurst with, at the time, they are showing 58 cases or 55%. You remember that number is skewed by Pinehurst Health and Rehab Center, and which has 80 cases of the 150. So you're still right at 55%. Aberdeen comes in second. I'm sure they don't want to be second in this case, with 13 cases or 12% of the positive cases in Moore County. Carthage comes in third at 7.5%. Seven Lakes at 6.6%. Southern Pines has 6 cases at 5.6%. And then we get to Vass, Foxfire, and Robbins all in the 3% range. So it gives you a little bit idea of the breakdown of where all these people are coming from. And again, I would pay more attention to the percentages of the total and not necessarily the raw number, since the state is clearly lagging the cases. I don't know why they're behind, but they are. We do have some non-COVID news for you that the Sway girls will be breaking, what's today, Thursday? They'll be breaking tonight. I hope they're breaking tonight. Should be. If it's not in tonight's newsletter, you'll get it on Monday. And then eventually Laura Douglas will wrangle it away from them and we'll get it into the pilot. Southern Pines Town Council has a number of public hearings scheduled for Tuesday evening. And these will be virtual public hearings, so it's important to remember that while the councilmen will be discussing the matters and they will be taking comments from the public, the new rules they mandate that there will be no action taken for at least 24 hours. And in this case, Southern Pines will not take any of these matters up for 2 weeks until their next work session. But the 2 items of note we wanted to report to you tonight is on Airport Drive on the outskirts of Southern Pines, where the Southern Pines Brewing Company is, right across the street from the Southern Pines Brewing Company, are plans to build an indoor climbing gym, which we hear all the time about not enough activity for young families and young folks. And so here you go. Looks like a soldier is trying to create one. We say that because we haven't been able to track him down, which is understandable. He's probably on base somewhere. But eventually we will get him, and we will bring his story and his business plans to you. The second item of note in their public hearings will be a preliminary drawings being shown by Pinehurst Surgical Clinic and Pinehurst Medical Clinic for their new campus on Morganton Road, right across from the Char Bar. We reported on that several months ago, but this will be the council's first time to take a look at what the drawings look like, and it'll be the first time the public's had to weigh in and let folks know their thoughts. So if you've got nothing else going on Tuesday evening, tune in to the Southern Pines Town Council and see what's going on with those 2 matters. And if you don't have time, we got it covered for you. Laura Douglas will be there reporting on it, and we'll have the full scoop for you beforehand and afterwards. So stay in touch. Let's see. And now we have our last bit of news for you is our acts of kindness. Tonight we will be talking about the Habitat for Humanity. When I was a young publisher 25 years ago, the late great Patsy Bonsall once kidnapped me and took me to a Habitat for Humanity build. And she was what made Habitat what it is today. Now she's handed the reins off to a equally devoted nonprofit executive, Amy Fraley, and they have quite a bit of nice news for us. They have, since the shutdowns have occurred, they have completed 4 houses. So kudos to them in some pretty tough circumstances, finished building 4 houses. One, I'm not sure how many they have sold, but one of them was sold to an emergency room nurse. So a frontline medical worker named, where's her name? Alicia McCoy bought one of those houses in April, and she and her family have moved in. So congratulations, Alicia. Hope you're enjoying your new home. And we're all excited for you investing in our community. That's all we have for you tonight, folks. So thank you for tuning in. Unfortunately, John Nagy will not be with us again tomorrow, so you are once again stuck with me, the B team. But John will be back on Monday, and he will relieve me of my broadcast duties. I think they're ready to get rid of me here. But until then, I'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Stay safe, be kind, and keep your distance.